Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this first webinar in our summer learning initiative. I will give people just about 30 more seconds because I continue to see people jumping in. But we are glad to have you here today, to have you come and join this conversation. So, as we get started, um, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat if you'd like. I see Sean just is bragging on us East Coast peeps about it being 50 degrees. So welcome. We're going to get started with our first webinar in the Summer Learning Initiative that we are calling Don't Just Fall into Summer Planning. And really, we want to thank you all for taking the time to join this conversation and for being willing to join the Summer Learning Initiative. This initiative is one that the 21st CCLC National Technical Assistance Center is launching with two pilot states, Michigan and North Carolina, both that are colder than where Sean is right now. And we have this opportunity to really provide high quality support and resources, tools to all of you to help you as you plan your summer programming. And at the same time, we're hoping you'll give us feedback and input and resources in this process so that as we expand the scope and share these tools and resources with a broader audience, they can see what works, that we can lift up your programs, your places, your sites as highlights, as skills, as organizations who are doing really intentional work about making summer not just about having a fun time, about rolling out the ball, but about being a really intentional time that can make a difference for our young people, for our families that our programs, our 21st CCLC programs are investing in. And so this is the first in a series of about 5 sessions where we'll work through a process for that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this process today, but we just want to start by saying thank you for your willingness to participate, especially to our state leaders and our program directors who've had a little conversation about what this looks like. We hope that you'll ask lots of questions as we go along and join in this conversation. But to get started, I'd like to introduce our team a little bit. My name is Hillary Jones. I am one of the senior TA liaisons with the 21st CCLC NTAC. And I have done a lot of summer. And summer for me has looked like everything from 100 kids out on a soccer field with no indoor space and porta potties to the what I like to call the mega community center with an indoor pool and water park and all the finest things that out of school time and summer programming has to offer. And the reality is, no matter what your place or space is, that you can run really high quality programs in those contexts. And so I'm excited to spend some time talking about it, but I'm going to pass it over to Yana to introduce herself.
Thanks, Hillary. And hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I am one of the TA liaisons, and I'm primarily going to be working with Michigan. I've already had a whole bunch of visits to Michigan this year, so excited to continue to work with you all and to be thinking about how do we make effective summer programs. I have been a frontline staff member, a teacher, a program director, have worked in all sorts of different summer contexts, primarily in science. I'm a former biology and chemistry teacher, so I've always done summer science programs. So I'm always really excited to think about how do we make really meaningful academic experiences? How do we introduce kids to science in new ways over the summer? That's my personal passion area.
Next is Michelle.
Thanks, Hillary. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Owens. I also am a TA liaison with the NTAC team, and I will be working primarily with North Carolina. I live here in North Carolina, so I'm really excited about it. And I would say probably for the last, I've lived here 20 years, I have worked with programs in North Carolina and nationally, specifically on mental health, social emotional learning, and some of those topics. One of my favorite passions is working in summer because I love that you have students longer. You have a longer time to really work with them, get to know them, build those relationships, and make an impact on all areas of programming for them. And I also am really excited to be working in the Summer Learning Initiative because I just feel that it's going to be something really great that then we're going to learn from you and expand within other states so that we can help them. So thanks for being here today. And I'm going to pass it to Sean.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Petty. I'm the guy in San Antonio who's freezing because it's 50 degrees, but please know I feel for you if you are in anything colder than that, which I think most of you are. So my heart goes out to you. But my role on the team is I am a senior associate, but I focus on learning solutions. So I'll be providing a lot of the content that you'll be utilizing, the tools and some of the material. My background is I've been training in the after-school field for about 15 or more years. I've been the co-investigator on 2 national studies about summer. So some of the reports that you read, I actually was a co-investigator on some of those reports. Summer makes a difference, and I know that through this initiative, hopefully we'll be able to have some amazing programming come from it. So excited to support you, and I'll tag Hillary.
Well, thank you. So this will be your team. Please make sure that you capture some information for Michelle, Yana, but you'll also be hearing from them, and they will be reaching out to you and your teams over these next several months while we work on this project. But at this time, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Candace Ferguson. She is our 21st CCLC NTAC Project Director and works for Synergy Enterprises Incorporated. So Candace, give us an introduction. Talk to us about what this is about, why it's important, and the power of this work.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you guys. And thank you all so much for being here this morning. And we are so excited to get this series kicked off. As you will hear today, and as many of you already know, our folks have said it as well, that high quality summer learning programs are critical for addressing learning loss, for providing safe spaces, which is really, really important right now. And also, another thing that's real critical to us at the NTAC is for ensuring that we provide equal opportunities to students. So that's another impact that you'll hear about that high quality summer learning programs can have. And you all know this, so I am preaching to the choir a little bit, but you've heard our staff talk about this too, the importance of summer programs in promoting growth and academic growth, but we're also talking about some of those social, emotional, critical wellness areas like confidence, resilience. Of course, academic success is critical for summer learning programs, but all of these things go together to benefit our students who we know are from diverse backgrounds. So these are just a couple of the reasons that we are so excited for you all to join us in this initiative. Because as you'll hear, that high quality summer learning programs can make an absolute difference in the lives of students. So one of the other things that you'll hear today about this targeted summer learning initiative is that it really will rely on strong partnerships and collaborations, not only among you all and your staff, but those that you partner with to run your programming, of course, your state level staff, your program admin staff, and especially the members of your program planning team that we'll be talking about a little bit later today. So just know that working together in these planning teams and in this collaborative effort will really enhance the effectiveness of a carefully crafted summer learning program. And we're really excited to grow beside you, to work beside you, to walk beside you in this initiative, because as Hillary mentioned, we will be able to take the information that we are learning from you and share that with other 21st CCLC programs across the country. So that's another thing that's critical to the success of this particular initiative. And one thing I want to say before we dive into what we're going to learn about today specifically is that I want each and every one of you to know that we are here to support you through this planning process. We're really excited to get to do this initiative because it's something that we have done previously, and we've learned so much from what this, kind of targeted planning process can look like. So we're really excited to walk beside you when you do this. And today we're going to focus on 3 critical areas. So I talked about highlighting the importance of a program planning team for your summer learning initiative. So that's going to be number 1. The other thing that we're going to talk about is conducting a needs assessment specifically for summer. And then the last thing that we'll touch on today is helping you set meaningful goals through a theory of action and a logic model that is specific to your summer learning program. And we're going to provide you some helpful tools along the way, which we're going to be doing in phases. So we're not going to throw everything at you at one time. We're going to work, like I said, work with you, walk alongside you, and help you in your planning efforts. So again, just wanted to say thank you so much for your participation in this initiative. And we look forward to working with you all in the next several months. Hillary, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ferguson. So we wanted to just pause here a moment and do a little more of an introduction of beyond just our team, what the 21st CCLC NTAC is. We work collaboratively to support 21st CCLC programs across the nation. We really want to make sure that people like all of you have the knowledge and skills that you need to make a difference for students and for families. And so we do that a few ways. We're very intentional about providing resources. So you will get lots of practical tools that you can use in this process. We intentionally provide opportunities for professional development and learning. And so we hope that this is a process through which you grow, through which you're empowered. I know that there's a number of site coordinators in the room through which you have the opportunity to own and improve your summer programming so that your sites are ones that shine out among your state, so that your sites are ones that that people look to as successes and strengths. And we want to build your capacity so that it's not just your sites, but it's the other sites in your programs, and it's other programs in your states, and it's other states in this nation. And so that's part of what we're working towards in this project. We have a variety of priority areas, 7 of them to be precise, and they're really based on guidance from the U.S. Department of Ed and what we've heard from 21st CCLC professionals that they want help with. But our main goal is to build your capacity. And so these priority areas range from pandemic recovery support to supporting students' academic and SEL needs. And that's really where summer learning comes in. We want to make sure that you and your staff have what they need to provide equitable access to resources like these summer programs, because they make a difference. They're so important for what we did. And so that's why we're having this summer program initiative, summer learning initiative. It's to build these skills in our programs and our program spaces. So we've done a lot of talking about ourselves. Now we'd like to hear a little bit from you. So I'm going to ask for 2 things to happen at the same time. Danielle and Quintina, I know that you've met with me, but I'd love to have you talk a little bit about your programs, unmute so that you all can know what the programs are that are in this room, but also so the rest of our team can know. To all of the site coordinators or the site level leaders who are on this call, we'd love to have you tell us something about your program, your site that makes it unique in the chat while there's a little bit of talking going on. So Danielle or Quintina, whoever wants to go first, you're up.
I'll jump in. Thanks for having us. My name is Danielle Siegel. I'm the program director at True North Community Services in West Michigan, we'll say Central West Michigan. We have 13 sites across 4 counties. So on this call with me today, we have 4 site coordinators who are kind of from a range of both locations and levels. So we have 3 elementary site coordinators on the call and 1 middle school site coordinator. 2 are considered urban and 2 are considered extremely rural, about as rural as you can get for one of them. So we're super spread out. We've got a lot going on, but we are thankful to be together and to receive some support and see what it's all about.
Hello, I'm Quintina Pittman. I'm the area club director for Boys and Girls Club of Muskegon Lake Shore. Grateful to be here. A little bit about us. We have 4 sites that are under the 21st Century Grant. They're all in one school district, so we are really fortunate to be able to be working and involved with the youth at all levels in that school district. So that's really cool. And we too are just excited to be able to create some tools and some helps to help our summer program be a little bit more robust. Our numbers tend to drop in the summertime, and as you know, with grant funding, we've got to keep our ADA up. And so that's always a challenge for us to try to figure out how to meet that requirement and provide good summer programming to keep the kids coming. And so we're really excited to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Thank you both for giving that background.
Mhm.
Thank you to those of you who are kind of jumping in the chat and talking a little bit of what you love about your site, about your program, about what you're doing. We're glad you're here too. And if we had more time, we would love to hear from all of you, and you will get your moment through this process. So please know that. But this is more of our intro, so you have a little vision for what this process is going to be like, what we're doing today. So we want to talk a little bit about the importance of summer learning programs, and Sean kind of prompted this, and Dr. Ferguson set a really great foundation for us as to the importance of summer. But the big question is, why focus on summer? Why should we spend the next 6 months or so talking about it? Well, you may have heard something called the summer slide. It's a term that's used to describe what over really the last 4 or 5 decades, research has shown us that during the summer months, students, especially the students that are the target populations for our 21st CCLC program, students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, seem to slide backwards in their academic progress. And this is something that became a national conversation in about 2005. CBS did a video on this, and if you're interested in seeing more about it, I will drop, or Sean already dropped the link in the chat. Look at that. But while this video is 19 years old, we are still seeing the effects of this today. And as we look at additional research done in 2024, I apologize, we see that really there's more and more of this that's occurring over time, and we need to do intentional work if we're going to make summer a time that prevents and helps support our students who are most at risk, who need these opportunities more than other kids who may have that support at home or in their community that they're already getting. So, in order to make sure that we affect summer slide, we need to make sure that we're implementing high quality summer programming. And the RAND Corporation, I apologize, did a summer learning series and a study that really gave us some clear research around how we can best support summer programs, how we can best implement summer programs so that our young people are learning. And so really what these findings show us is that when we run programs that are high quality, that will see impact. And so in this study, what they did is they offered no-cost programs for 5 to 6 weeks, which is many of our 21st CCLC programs, right? They're at no cost there for some period of time in the summer. The class sizes stay small. A ratio of 1 to 15 or smaller was used in these programs. Certified teachers focused on at least 3 hours of academics every day. And there was high quality enrichment activities as part of this process. Meals and transportations were provided. And so those were the things that when they studied the programs all met these requirements. And what they saw as an outcome was that 15% of students of annual typical gains were made in math, because of high summer attendance. So students had to attend at least 20 days to make those gains, but when they did, the gains were made. And we also saw 20 to 25% of typical annual gains in mathematics and language arts after 2 summers. So that retention part that the Boys and Girls Clubs already thinking about, that's such an important part of this and of what we're going to talk about related to summer. And so as you think about this, what makes summer learning effective, we want to talk about what we have to do on the back end to make those things happen, because it doesn't just happen because we decided that we're going to run these high quality summer programs. It takes a ton of planning. And so this process is really about the strategic early planning that has to happen. And so when we start with this early planning, when we're intentional around it, and you can see this in the research from RAND and also from the NSLP research, there's some other research out there, what we see is that early planning results in a stronger program design and high quality stakeholder engagement. And as a result, these programs are more successful. We see intentional activities, right? We want programs to aim for the things that make impact. And so it's not just roll out the ball that makes a difference in our summer programs, but it's those high quality intentional activities. And to have time to do those well, we need to plan. We also see some of those same key recommendations around this, around small class sizes, around free transportation, free meals, and we can talk about all of those. So how are we going to approach this through this process? Well, we are going to look at this pathway to summer excellence. And as you participate in this initiative, we're going to walk through this process, through this pathway, and there's 7 key steps that we're going to cover. These 7 steps align with the tool that we're going to share with you in a moment, but what you'll see is that as we meet in each of these meetings, you're going to have a few of these steps that we're going to address. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about steps 1, 2, and 3. We will kind of send you off with some assignments to do. You'll connect with your TA liaison. So for the Michigan peeps in the house, that's Yana. Michigan is becoming her home away from home. So she will be accessible to you. She'll be a resource and a support to you as you work on those steps. And then as we come back together for our next session, you'll have done some work to prepare for that, and we'll introduce the next set of steps that we'll cover in the next conversation. And that will be the cycle, is that we'll share some information, you'll have some work time, you'll get support from your TA liaison, and then we'll follow up with the next session in the series. And so as you think about that, I just want to kind of give the brief overview of what those steps are. So today we'll be talking about, as Dr. Ferguson mentioned, the program team and what that looks like. We'll talk about a needs assessment and a logic model. And you'll get to dig into a little bit that over the forthcoming weeks. And then when we meet again, we'll start talking about logistics, all the nitty-gritty details that come into planning summer programs, so that hopefully you don't have to spend your summer at a soccer field and porta potties. that was out of my control, honestly. But also intentional activity design, intentional recruitment, and continuous improvement. And so we will really dive into each of those pieces. We will use as our guide through this process the Summer Learning Program Planner. And we're going to look at a few aspects of it today, those first 3 sections of it today. We are in the process of updating this tool, but we didn't want to delay the start of your program planning while we do so. So the version that we're going to share with you today, it'll get us started, but we will be reaching out. We'll be asking for your feedback, for your input on it. One thing that you'll notice as we refer to this planner, to this tool that's kind of going to guide this conversation and these resources, that each section aligns with one of the 7 key steps on the pathway to excellence. And you will notice there's 13 sections. So some of the pieces have subsections that you'll use. But this tool is really the guiding tool for our conversation today. Sean has shared all the links and resources to it in the chat. And we will also talk a little bit later about other ways that you can access this tool and other resources that we're going to share with you today. I am going to pass it over to Yana in a moment, but just wanted to pause, see if there are any questions, because we've thrown a lot of information at you about what's going to happen now. And before we dive into kind of the content that we want to review, I just want to make sure everybody had a space to ask any questions about what we're asking from you. And if you decide that you want to leave them in the chat for us, that's okay too.
I don't have a question per se, but just want to share a desire to know the rest of our dates ahead of time. As soon as we can get those set, that would be helpful.
So we have some tentative dates. I will, while Yana is talking, I will grab those dates unless Sean's got them easy access because he is on the ball with the chat links. I will grab those dates for us. And then we just need to hear from everybody whether these are dates that work and about times. And so when we drop those in, if y'all kind of give us a like yes or a no, and I don't know if our program directors want to speak for one another, but checking on dates was absolutely part of our agenda for today, so we can make sure that that happens.
Thank you.
Okay. Well then, Yana, I think you're up unless somebody else jumps in with a question, or feel free to drop them in the chat.
Great, thanks, Hillary. And so one of the things that we always talk about is having that program team. One of the things I want to mention as we're thinking about our program teams for the summer is you really want to have people who are available to start thinking and planning with you now. As we have mentioned, as Hillary has mentioned, our summers are most successful when we're planning them months and months in advance. So you want to assemble a program team to make sure that these are people who are going to be available with you, to work with you, to think with you, starting really this time of year. And first, before we head into it, I'd love to know, do any of you have advisory boards or stakeholder councils, maybe summer working groups? There's a lot of different names that these could go by, but do you have a group of people that are involved in that planning process? So you can do a show of hands. You can type it up in the chat box if you do have that. And if you don't, you can type that up as well. I'm seeing some shaking heads, which I'm assuming are shaking heads no. That's okay. More than okay. This is a good time to start thinking. And I think one of the things that we are talking about for summer, especially this planning pretty far in advance, I think different from a lot of the other times where we talk about a program team, you really want your program team to be lean and mean. So we recommend, 3-ish people to be involved in this program process, these 6 months in advance that we're talking about and thinking about. Really different oftentimes than what we talk about for that whole program team of thinking about the whole year. And when we're thinking about having it really kind of be lean and mean, uh, we're talking about people who are going to be available to do some thinking and some work this far in advance. And you have kind of some of that agility that we really need to be thinking and doing this work months in advance. Because even though kids come and our frontline staff come end of May, beginning of June, depending on maybe end of June, depending on your location, we need to start planning today. Um, and so we want to make sure that we're selecting people to be part of our program team that have really different perspectives from us and also that are going to bring in a lot of interesting experience. So, just as an example from our own team, you heard us mention the things that we're experienced with. I come from STEM, Michelle comes from like SEL and mental health. So, having those different perspectives is going to be really good. The people on your program team could include your site directors. Could include school day administrators. Could include a like really passionate teacher, a parent. It could be a student volunteer, some community partner that's going to have a lot of involvement. But for your program team, as we're building out one that is going to be really effective, again, we want to have some of those different perspectives. So I know a lot of you shook your heads that you don't have a team put together, but I'd love for you to take 2 seconds or more than 2 seconds, 30 seconds to think of at least one program team member that you want to approach basically now to start the process involved with you right from the get go. So if you don't have one person in mind, take 30 seconds. You are welcome to unmute yourself or let us know in the chat box who is like a critical member of your program planning team that you want to be meeting with right now. When I've done it, it's been the assistant principal of the school because we can really collaborate and think about the academics piece and really think about how we can align with the school day. So I'm hearing the YAC committee. Shantina, I'm sorry, I don't know what YAC stands for. But the YAC committee, oh, Youth Advisory Committee. Gotcha. So probably one representative from that could be a great idea. Hillary, in your camps, who has been your most successful program team member when you have that kind of lean and mean team? I'm sorry, I'm rhyming everything. I apologize.
That's okay. Yana, I often had kind of an advisory committee and then a working group within that space. And so, yes, like youth advisory, there's a lot of people, a much broader group that was on that space. But pretty much my best team for planning summer was my site coordinators, my operations manager, and myself. Like we just kept it real tight in that space. And so when you talk about the lean and mean, you need the advisory group who's giving you all the input and the group who's really getting into the nitty gritties. And that's what worked for us as we thought about that.
Great, thanks, Hillary. And so any of you thinking about this now, some of those ideas of who you might want to have on that really focused working group or planning team, we'd love to hear from you in the chat box after this meeting. Who are you going to go send an email or pop by their office, however you choose to communicate with them. We'd love to know who's at the top of your list. Hillary, Director of Operations, is a great one of thinking about building safety and what you'll have access to, and all of those kinds of pieces often have to be planned in advance, especially if you have a site where you are sharing space. So if your site is located in a school day building, it's going to be really important to have those conversations. We know a lot of schools do construction and repairs over the summer. So you need to know really far in advance what rooms you're going to have access to. Um, Brianna says that she's going to be meeting with the summer school director really soon. So for especially if your building is going to have other programs going on in the school building or in the building at the same time. We know we often share space. So, for example, maybe there's an extended school year program. As an example, we want to be in touch with those people to think about how we can collaborate and also how we can share space productively. Um, so that is a great point. Are there any other ideas? Would love to hear from you. Um, and if not, I am excited to turn it over to Michelle to talk about that summer needs assessment.
Thanks, Yana. So yeah, summer program needs assessment. I'm sure you've done some type of assessment in your programming, to try to figure out, during the school year, what exactly you want to offer, what will engage students, what will get them to keep coming back to your program. And so as Dr. Ferguson mentioned, as she was doing her intro, she talked about the importance of a needs assessment. And so before you begin your planning and designing your program, you want to make sure that you do some type of thorough needs assessment, because you want to gather information on things as similar to student academic needs. And then you also want to find out what students want to do during the summer months. And so this brings it back to that youth advisory committee again, really making sure that student voice is, involved in your planning. And if you have one of those students on your team that Yana just spoke about, it will really give you the access to be able to have students give their voice about what they want in addition to student academic needs. So when you're conducting a needs assessment, you really want to consider a wide range of needs to ensure your program is comprehensive and then also effective. So as you begin to design your summer program, you want to gather needs assessment data. And so you'll see those 3 levels of data in the circles on the slide. The first one being school and community. And so school and community data could be anything from student test scores or student attendance. And then your second one, student data. This could be where your program can target specific knowledge and skills so that you are impacting school level performance for your students. And then that last one, student voice. We want to make sure that we're providing engaging activities that we will make students attend. And someone had mentioned this in the beginning about trying to improve student attendance and get more students involved in your programs this summer. So this one step of student voice, I think, will really be effective in helping with that. Some key areas to focus on are student supports, including academic performance. Examples of this could be identifying specific subjects where students need help. A lot of times we see those subjects being math and reading. Also considering physical and mental health needs, including access to counselors or health services. And so this is where I'll talk a little bit more about gap analysis and things like that in a minute. But this is where you can really tap into community supports. Doesn't always have to be someone that's on school staff, so that you're really providing access to mental health needs. And then also special talents. This is where you can pull in, some really great people that might not be on your staff full time, but they can really help support your enrichment activities. So if you think of like arts or gardening or music, and you want to, offer something in that area, it's a really great idea to try to pull in some of those folks that have special talents that can bring to your program. You should also look at facilities and venues, including special venues. Through this, we can ensure access to spaces like theaters, science labs, maybe outdoor play areas that can really enhance the learning environment and experiences for the students. Also general facilities, where are you going to be, during most of your time? Do you have adequate classroom space? Do you have where you can go into a media center or a library and utilize those different resources? As Hillary said, she talked about her recreational area. You never know. It could be the parking lot, and you're trying to figure out what you can do best to keep kids physically active during that during that time and what would be fun and engaging. Also, you want to look at the materials that you have, and that could be anything from general materials that you just pull out of the cabinet, like notebooks, paper, pens, any type of art supplies. If you're focusing on, let's say, math, that bubbled up to the surface is something that was in need, you know, having math manipulatives, or maybe even, you know, having a few Chromebooks or tablets where you can put some math games on there for students. And then finally, you should think about staffing. We always know staffing is something that comes up a lot in the trainings and stuff that we do. So looking for qualified educators in specific fields. Again, looking for professionals in your community. It could be anyone within your community that you can tap into, and that you can have access to specialists. Again, it could be counselors, nurses. You want someone to come in and provide IT support. You're doing some fun project on graphic design. And so, you know, bringing someone in. And then also law enforcement. It could be your resource officer. It could be a police officer from the community. It could be anyone that could come in and really help support your programming. And so by thoroughly assessing all of these areas that I talked about that you have on the screen, the three main different types of data, and then some of those supports underneath it, you know, through this needs assessment, you can really create a well-rounded summer program. And we want to address the diverse needs of our students and our families that are coming into our summer programs. And so by really focusing on these different data points, having student voice, through the needs assessment, we can really support students' overall development through our summer learning programs. So what you see here is mapping community assets. And so I had talked about that as far as community members or business partners or professionals within your community that might be able to help support your programming. And so your program team that Yana just talked about, those she was rhyming, I forgot her rhyme, but dream team or whatever it was that you pulled together, will use this needs assessment information, and it will really help you develop program goals and activities. So by taking this needs assessment information and all of these data points that you pulled together, it's going to really help with intentional design of these activities that you're going to offer in the summer. Then your team can map asset to identify different people that you need in your group that might be able to come and join your team meeting. And it might not be every meeting, but they come and join you and they, you know, decide what they can offer for this programming. And then different people, organizations, and resources that can help meet your identified needs. And we all want our summer programs to appeal to our students and families. I mean, that's what summer's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be engaging. And so we really want to make sure that we're doing that. And so we can do this by reaching out into our community or looking at other programs in our areas and making sure we don't duplicate existing resources or efforts that we're doing. When you look at what pre-existing programs and services are available, when you're conducting your asset mapping, this would be an essential part of the planning process. So this tool that you see on the screen right here, it's just a very simple tool that you can use once you figure out what your needs are to fulfill those needs within your program, what resources you need. And the resources could be like I talked about, it could be people, it could be Chromebooks, it could be anything that you need to help support that. So after you complete your needs assessment, you can use this diagram on the slide, or you can use any type of other one that's in the program planner that Hillary spoke about earlier. And then you can pull in these groups and determine the next steps as you're planning. So here you can see we're really, with this, just trying to look for the gaps. So we've identified the needs, we've identified some people or some resources. And so what can we do to identify the gaps? So with this, once you complete your entire needs assessment process, remember you can use your summer learning program planner and you can find these different resources within it. And so with this, you'll see just community resources. You want to offer a swimming program. You have children that don't know how to swim. Families are really concerned about it. You want to be able to offer that, but like Hillary's one amazing program that had an indoor pool. You might not have that in your community. It might be where, you know, someone had spoke about it's very rural and we don't have that. And so that might not be a program that we can offer, or we do have to connect with maybe a YMCA or somewhere else, or an aquatic center that we can use their pool. So that's the resource that, you know, is a gap for us. Nutrition education, you know, you reach out to your 4-H extension, someone says, yeah, we can come out, we can do nutrition education lessons. And so you filled that one. And then like the last one, just looking for different individuals. So you want to do some type of, you know, gardening program over the summer. And so you're kind of like, I don't garden. We're rural. We don't have a Home Depot down the road. And so who can I pull in? And so it might be a master gardener. It might be someone online, you know, you're pulling some online information on gardening and someone's doing a live video for you. So it just depends on what best resource works for you. And so now I am going to turn it over to Sean to talk about the next step, which is our logic model.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is like a whirlwind. So please, you know, take it all in and know that we're going to be sending out the link to the recording, to these slide decks, to all the resources by the end of the week. If you're like, wow, they're just going so fast, don't worry. We're going to get it back to you. We just wanted to honor your time and really stick to it. So I'm going to go through logic model very quickly, but we're going to be working with you later on this to delve in depth on logic model. But when you think about a logic model, this is really kind of the foundation of your program. A lot of people use logic models for evaluation. We're going to use logic models for operations. And if you're like, I don't even understand what that means, Sean, you know, can you explain more? Well, the first thing you start with on your logic model is something called your theory of action. So many of you know the needs in your community. At a glance, you can automatically, you know, say what needs are there. And then as you back it up with data, you can start to drill that need out. And then as you combine it with that student voice, you really start to come up with an idea on what your summer program is supposed to be. And so you ask yourself, if we did this particular action, then this would be the result we would get. And if we get that result consistently, we would have a long-term impact. So for example, we know that many times students don't necessarily have anywhere to go in summer. Parents work, they're very busy. So sometimes we just need to provide a safe and secure place for them to go to. So your theory of action, if that's your need, if your need is to provide a safe space, your theory of action is simply, if we provide a safe space, then kids or students will be safe and secure, which will lower violence, which will lower particular crime. It may help students engage in positive behaviors. That leads to a long-term impact of an engaged student, more success, better community, etc. So when you start to look at your need, you start to automatically in your head think about this. If my program did this, then this would happen, and over time this would happen. That is your theory of action. And that is your first step in thinking about a logic model. So as you get your program team together and you have that wide variety of people talking about ideas and things that you want to do, and you're planning on a consistent basis, then you conduct your needs assessment and you have your asset map, and then you have your gap analysis. You're like, okay, here's where our gaps are. You start to formulate this theory of action in your mind, and this becomes kind of like your Nike moment. This is your just do it. If we did this, so many great things would happen. But then the next question is, okay, well, how do I operationalize that? I have this grandiose plan of having a great summer program, but now how do I put it to practice in a rigorous way that can actually work for my community? That's where the logic model comes into play. The logic model breaks down your theory of action step by step into your final outcome. And it's real simple. You can do this on a napkin even if you wanted to, but we've provided a tool for you. It's tab 5 of the Summer Learning Program Planner. We'll be sending this out individually as components as well. But you put your theory of action up there in the top, and then you put your need right below. And your need is your underlying, challenge that's going to be addressed. And then you think about from your asset map what resources or assets you have to meet that need. Then you think about your outputs. What activity is going to address that need? But you can't just develop the activity, because even though we think we build it, they will come. Kids, sometimes you build it and they walk out the door, right? So your goal is to think about participation dosage. What is the minimum amount of dosage or participation that a student would need in your summer program to impact change? So, you set those target goals right here in your logic model, and that leads to your overall outcome, your change in the condition or the attitudes, the knowledge that results in a behavior change or results in an improvement. So I just want to give you a quick sample of what this could look like. So here's one. This is by no means perfect. This is a sample that we put together just to give you kind of a flavor. But your logic model, your theory of action is this. If we create an engaging summer program that provides a safe and supportive environment, wraparound services or holistic services, and evidence-based literacy activities, then the participating youth will experience improved reading performance, increased engagement, and enhanced social emotional well-being. So that's kind of our theory of action. And it's a very broad, and it doesn't need to be a dissertation. It can literally be a sentence of your belief. What's the need we plan to address? Well, we know from student data that only 25% of grade 4 students or 4th grade students pass the reading comprehension portion of the local state assessment, whatever your state assessment may be. So as you think about that, you know that you have a full-time site coordinator who has experience with supervising and a background in enriching and academic programming. That's one resource that aligns with this need. There may be more. What are you going to do? Well, the activity that your team has brainstormed is a movie production club where 4th graders will select a book, and then for the 6 weeks of summer, they're going to write scripts, do storyboarding, they're going to produce short films. So it's not a hardcore academic push. Instead, it's a highly enriched activity that addresses reading comprehension through kind of a disguised learning method of doing this movie club. You plan to have 30 students. You're going to keep it to a 1:15 ratio, so you need 2 instructors. You're going to run it for 6 weeks, and you're going to do 4 days a week, and it's only going to be a portion of that. So you could add to your logic model and say it's 1 hour a day. You could even drill down that depth. What's the outcome? Well, at the end of this, you want at least 80% of students who participated 20 or more days. 20 or more days seems to be a statistic significant number for summer, based on the RAND study and other studies that have occurred. So if a student attends 20 days and participates in this program, we believe that they will have improved reading comprehension and, more importantly, an improved interest in reading for pleasure as measured by pre and post assessment. Now, key point, assessment does not have to be a formal paper test or anything like that. It can be a formative assessment that's in the form of an interview, a simple game where they demonstrate, or it could be their final project of this activity. But you can see how very clearly the logic model outlines all the way from your theory of action down to your need, all the way across to your final outcome. So that's a process that we want to work with you and kind of do that on every need, if we can, and help you really streamline your summer program. Now, that was very high level, so we want to show you, when we are working on this initiative, where you will be able to go to get this information. So many of you may be participating in our learning management system, which we just launched. So we're proud to announce that 21st Century InTAC has launched a learning management system where we store courses and other resources. By the end of this week, you will be getting a link with your credentials, if you don't have them already, that will take you or will allow you access to the learning management system. This is not quite nationwide yet. So you are some of the first to get access to this. I want to show you real quick how to access, although the instructions will be in the email. Once you get your credentials, you'll go to the 21st Century NTAC website, which looks like this, and you'll go up to login. You'll simply click login, and that brings you to your login page. You will then input your email address. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then you're going to do your password. And then you log in, and it takes you, you notice the menu has changed. You now have up top this area called Professional Learning Portal. If you click on that, there's a Learning Management System button. You click on the Learning Management System, and it takes you into the Learning Management System. This system will have courses. It will have things that you can automatically access. And one item that we will be adding is a special button just for this summer initiative. You will click on that button and it will take you, we're still building it, which is why it's going to be released to you by the end of the week. But you'll click on that button and it will take you to a page with all the tools and resources that we are sharing today. And that is where you will go to communicate with your TA liaison, to share your logic models, and to share this entire process. So that is kind of our outlay of how we plan to support you in this initiative from a resource perspective. But the number one resource that you have available to you is the team. And that team is headed up here by Hillary. So I'm going to turn it back to Hillary.
So you all got the speed version of this first chunk of work in the pathway to summer excellence, right? We talked very quickly, very high level about building that program team, thinking about and figuring out who are those people who are going to be right there for you in the nitty-gritty of it. Now, really digging into what are the things you need for based on what students are saying, what families are saying, what your school partners are saying, what your community is saying, but also mapping the resources in your community that can be that asset to you and figuring out what you still need. And then number 3, that logic model, the theory of action of how you're going to move forward, because we have to do that piece before we can get into the nitty-gritties of your budget or your staffing or your schedule that sometimes we like to jump in first. That's what helps make a high-quality summer program effective. So as we begin kind of heading towards our wrap up, I want to just be very clear on what the next steps are for you all. So number 1 is scheduling time with your TA liaison. Michigan peeps, that's Yana. So she is going to send emails out to each of your groups. I will say, Danielle and Quintina, if there's somebody from your teams who are not here today, who didn't register for this webinar, who you need us to include, please make sure either Yana or I get their emails so that that message goes to everybody that you need it to. So number 1 is schedule the consultation. Schedule time with them to get the help, to get the support that we are offering so that you can do all of these things. So you don't feel like you just got the information dump and now are left on your own, right? Number 2 is when you get that email that says, here's how you can access the LMS. Please log in, explore a little. You can't mess it up, right? You can't destroy it. So log in and check it out. Let us know if you have any trouble logging in, and then figure out what questions you have, because I guarantee you the most effective way to have that meeting with your TA liaison, to meet with Yana, is to know what your questions are and say, like, we don't really understand this piece. Or when you say map assets, tell me a little bit more about what you need. Or I don't know even where to find the button in the LMS. All of those are fair questions, right? Bring those types of questions once you've done a little exploring and logging in and you've thought a little bit about these resources. Just schedule that time, log into the LMS and figure out where your questions are. We are here to help. And so I am also going to have Sean put up for you Yana's information one more time. So if you're like, I don't know, it's going to get lost in the sauce right now, this is your moment, write it down, take a picture, whatever you need to do so that you have it. But of course, all of our team is here to support you in all of your 21st CCLC efforts. And so please reach out if you need to Yana. I'll also be in regular contact with your state coordinators and working with the states. Sean's going to kind of focus on that resource hub on the website resources and make sure that you get your access by the end of this week. So, we said to you, yes, we have a lot that we want to offer to all of you, but we also want some feedback from you. And so I am going to ask you right now, Sean's going to drop a survey link in the chat. I want you to fill it out. And I just want to say, in addition to the work that we are doing around the Summer Learning Initiative, there are a variety of resources that the 21st CCLC NTAC will offer. And so please follow us, stay connected with us via our newsletter or follow us on X or LinkedIn. We love to be connected more broadly than this work. But most importantly, please take a moment, fill out the survey, and we are also happy to hang out and answer any questions for a few minutes. None of us are racing to the next thing, but we know some of you are. So we want to respect that. But if you have questions you want to ask, this is your chance. But we think we left you all with some assignments.
Hillary, too, while folks are still filling out the survey, I just wanted to add too about the call to action and thinking about some of those questions that you mentioned that they may have, or really kind of digging in a little bit deeper on that consultation. It's going to be important for us to do an assessment of where you are, like a readiness assessment. That's something that we'll do continuously throughout, but we also, again, want to honor your time. And if you already have needs assessment figured out, if you already have logic model figured out, depending on your readiness, we don't have to spend a lot of time there. Or if you do need some help in that area, we can spend as much time as needed. So that's just something important I wanted to mention, because again, this initiative is really tailored to where you are, where your needs are, where your needs lie. And, our support team is here, again, like I said, to guide you through this entire process and not just give you the tools and leave you to them. So just wanted to let you know that as well.
Those consultation calls, are they individual or are team together with Yana?
Danielle, we didn't talk about exactly this topic yesterday, but we kind of loosely talked about an associated topic. And I think we came to the place of it depends on what you decide is like the best approach for your team. Like I know the Boys and Girls Club, like they're very linked. They're trying to all do exactly the same things. And so I am relatively sure Boys and Girls Club, you're going to do all this, like have one call with your team. Danielle,
Yes.
I don't know how similar your dynamics are and how similar you want them to be. And so I think that that's worth your team thinking about and having a conversation around you and your foresight coordinators.
Sure.
And let us know what makes the most sense for you.
Okay. My initial thought would be separate. They are very different. But yeah, I will touch base and we'll let her know.
In general, everything is super customizable to your sites. As you know, this is kind of our first year, so we are still figuring out what are the best ways to support you. And so it's very much it's very much going to be based on what do you need, how can we support you most effectively.
Y'all are free to go if you finished your survey and all of that. We don't want to hold you up, but we're also happy to answer questions. If you got something spinning that you're like, I just want to know now so I can think about this before the next conversation, this is your chance.
We'll tell you to stay warm though, like, and be safe in this crazy weather.